I'm delighted to be joined by world number 2 Rory McIlroy here in the media centre. Rory, thanks for joining us. You've just played the Pro-Am. What's your thoughts on the West Coast this year and how much are you looking forward to the BMW PGA Championship?
I don't know why it surprises me every year, but every time I get out here in the Pro-Am on a Wednesday, I'm always amazed at how many people are out there and putting themselves in harm's way on a Wednesday. So, but it was fantastic atmosphere, and Wentworth has got some really great memories for me over the years from coming here and watching the World Match Play with my mum and dad as a kid, and playing in a lot of these tournaments also. Course is in fantastic shape. The greens are pretty firm, I guess, after the good weather that we've had over the last couple of weeks. Rough's pretty thick, which is a good precursor to a couple of weeks' time. Overall it's in fantastic shape. Golf course is set up well, and we've got a great field assembled as well. So it looks like it's going to be a great week.
Thanks, Rory. We'll go straight to questions. Start with Phil.
Rory, as you alluded to there, apparently the rough is pretty tasty in Marco Simone. Can you just give us your thoughts on the course setup that you experienced on Monday?
Yeah, I thought it. It's penal off the tee. You miss fairways and you're going to struggle to get to the greens. I think there's some holes where that is maybe warranted more than others. There's a few short par fours that I think if you're hitting less than driver off the tee and you do miss the fairway, you should be punished. But there's a couple of the longer holes that maybe the rough is not quite as severe, and you can at least get like a 7 or an 8 iron on it and get it advance it quite a bit down the fairway. But in terms of just the condition of the course, and I don't know if I've ever seen better fairways. The fairways were so pure to hit off, and the greens are in great shape and everything. It's been a hot summer over there, but the course is in fantastic shape, and you're just got to keep your ball in the fairway off the tee.
Just in terms of how useful was the trip itself in terms of sort of bonding with players that you might not know as well as others, sort of Ludwig, etc.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm sort of surprised it's the first time we had ever really done it. But yeah, there's a few new faces on the team, and I thought it was a great exercise in terms of getting to know one another a little bit better. And I had an opportunity to play with Ludwig for the first time on Monday, which I was excited about. And I told him, I said, I've been looking forward to this for a while. So it's just been, not that I need to get any more excited about an upcoming Ryder Cup, but that little trip definitely got the juices flowing on Monday. Probably exceeded them. Everyone talks about what a great driver the golf ball he is, and which he is. It's the ball striking is incredible, but I was really impressed with his wedge play and how he can sort of control his trajectory with the shorter clubs. And I was on the bandwagon before, but certainly at the front of it now.
Go to Martin over here, please.
Rory, when you sat up there a year ago, you talked about the future of the Ryder Cup being the Hojards and Bob McIntyre. How pleased are you that one of the Hojards and Bob have made it to Rome, and also Bob in particular after the Scottish Open from your perspective?
It's a transitional time in the European Ryder Cup team. We've a few guys that have been amazing Ryder Cuppers for 2 decades basically, and unfortunately things move on, and you need to try to bring in some fresh talent, and we certainly have that this year in terms of Nikolai, Bob, Ludwig, even someone like a Sepp who's come onto the scene over the last couple of years and has played some great golf. It's exciting. It's exciting. I think the thing as well, which has been a nice, it's been sort of refreshing. It felt like, there's, starting with Rosie and Shane and myself, the 3 oldest on the team, which is amazing to say. I felt like all the 12 of us were all on the same level. You know, we're all on the same wavelength. No, there was no type of hierarchy within the team. Like I remember 2012 Ryder Cup. I went in there, #1 player in the world. I'd won 2 majors in the last 2 years, and I still didn't feel like I could speak up in the team room. And this doesn't feel like that, you know, which I think is really good. Just making the new guys as comfortable as possible, and you know, that's, you know, to me that was a really cool thing about the last couple of days.
Craig.
Hi Rory, you kind of answered that question there I was going to ask you, but I was going to ask you about feeling like a bit of a father figure amongst the group now, which is strange given your age, but...
Older brother. No,
but,
father.
But you're actually saying there you're making a conscious effort for it not to kind of be like that and to be on a level with everyone.
Not at all.
Or
I
do you
don't
take a
I don't
senior
think
role?
any of these guys need their hand held or need babied in any way. They know what they're doing, and I'd rather them look across to me than look up at me, if that makes sense. That's the way I'd hope to think that they see me that way. You know, we're one part of a 12-man team, and we're all trying to do our bit, and certainly no one is more important than anyone else.
Get to Neil next, please.
Roy, just to follow up on that, how do you create that culture? How have you gone about that on this week? And I see you're playing with Luke, Ludwig and Victor again this week, and I assume you'd be quite happy to play with either of those two when it comes
Absolutely.
down to it.
Yeah, I think, you know, with the younger guys and you know, when I came onto the Ryder Cup team in 2010, I felt like the veterans on the team were really good with me in terms of, you know, feeling somewhat, you know, but it's hard to not look at, you know, say in 2010, and whether it be, you know, Westy or Poltz or Luke or whoever it was that was, you know, really at the top of the world rankings at that time, it's hard to not have that sense of looking up at someone and feeling like, you know, stay quiet, do what you're told, and, you know, but, you know, I think, you know, just trying to make a really conscious effort amongst the vice captains, the veteran guys on the team of just being inclusive and really, just making sure that the younger guys and the rookies are really involved in everything that we do.
Just a quick one, just on your own game coming in this week. I mean, how helpful it is to have a big event to everyone, all 12 of the team, sharpen their game this week, whereas the Americans have a slightly different build-up for them.
Yeah, I mean, again, even though, you know, we're trying to create this really good team environment, at the end of the day, we are individual sports people, and we all need to do what's best for us to get ourselves ready to play in Rome. So, I like that we have this week. You know, it's nice to be able to stay sharp. Some of the guys from the States, the last competitive golf they're going to play will be the Tour Championship a couple of weeks ago. So, but then there's also some guys on the team that'll, I think, play Napa. I think, is it this week or? And then I know Brooks is obviously playing the week before in the live event. So, you know, there's some guys that are going to have I guess a bit more sharpness coming in. So, but you know, the build up to Ryder Cup week is so long anyway. You know, get there on the Monday and you've got that extra day. You know, you're not playing until Friday. So, I'm pretty sure everyone on both teams will feel ready to go on Friday morning.
Kevin, please.
Rory, you've played under a few captains now. I just wonder how your relationship with Luke compares to others. And given that you're a senior figure now, is your relationship with the captain is different? Has that evolved? And do you feel that he is leaning on you as a senior figure?
Actually, not really. I think he sort of let me be a little bit, and you know, he knows that I've, you know, been playing a lot of golf and, you know, trying to play well, and he hasn't. We've had chats. We live on the same street in Florida. We live 10 houses down from each other, so it's not as if we don't see each other all the time. But it's just been on a more casual sort of basis. It hasn't been sit down talks and strategies and pairings, and that's not my job. I don't want to have that role. I'm one of his players, and I just want to do my best for the team. But like, if there's anything asked of me by being a leading player, whatever that means, or a veteran player, a player that's played in quite a few of them, I'm certainly happy to take direction and do what's needed of me. But I don't feel like it's my place to give the captain my opinion unless it's asked for. And Luke, I think, has got a lot of great vice captains around him, and has lent on a couple of past captains as well, which I think has been great.
One quick one, if I may. The end of the last Ryder Cup was particularly traumatic for you after the experience you had, and it was a tearful, emotional response. I wonder how much of that energy can you capture? Is it possible to capture it and take that forward to Rome?
Yeah, I told a story on Monday night to the team about watching Brookline '99 on TV and crying after America came back and Europe had lost. And I said, and obviously I cried on Whistling Straits in 21, so not much has changed. But yeah, it was I felt as, someone that should go out there and win points for the team. I didn't do that, and whether I had played well that week and whether it would have made a difference if we had won or lost, who knows? But I just didn't. I felt like I had, we're not used to playing for other people in this game, and you go out there and you're playing for your teammates and you want to do well for them, and I felt like I didn't do that. I didn't give a good account of myself, and that stung, and the scoreline stung, and it's the first time I'd been dropped in a session in a Ryder Cup, and there was just a lot of things that, it was a difficult week for me, and but that emotion was real, and what I said at the end of that tournament was all true. It is by far the best experience in sport, and standing shoulder to shoulder with your teammates in an environment like that is, I think, the epitome of what competition and what sport is.
Go over to John Hopkins on that side, please.
Rory, you're very good at assessing and giving us insightful remarks about other players. Two-part question. First is, if I said to you, what's Eduardo like? And the second question is, what is it that, aside from his character, what is it that he does so well? I mean, he is being portrayed as the numbers man and statistical genius and all the rest.
The guru.
The guru, yeah.
Well, he is that. I think he's delved really deep into the stats in terms of pairings for four balls, for foursomes, course setup, what our team as a whole does well, what their team as a whole does well. How can we, set ourselves up for success in whatever way possible. And he also has formed a very close relationship with some of the players over the last few years because he does some of the stats for certain players. So I think the players trust him. They sometimes you have to take numbers with a grain of salt, and they don't tell the whole story or the whole picture. But I think Eduardo comes in there not just as a statistician, but also someone that's played in a Ryder Cup, that still plays the game at a competitive level. And I just think all of those things combined, there's a big level of trust that he obviously knows what he's talking about, and what he's giving us is good information.
And as a person?
Fantastic, maybe a little more animated than his brother, but yeah, he's a great person. I think he's sort of the sort of person that you would fit easily into any sort of group, whether it be young or old, or and again, he's got a close relationship with a lot of the players on the team anyway, which is a big plus.
Just go one here.
How nice will it be to get away for a couple of days next week, and will that make you feel more refreshed? And just quickly, how's the back doing? Is he back sort of fully recovered?
Yeah, back feels good, thankfully, touch wood. I came out of last week feeling pretty good. The back was good, and even all this travel back and forth to Rome and sitting on cars and planes and whatever, it's been good. So that was a huge positive coming out of last week. And yeah, like I've played a lot of golf this summer. The Scottish Open, the Open, the FedEx Cup playoffs last week, this week. To go away for a couple of days will be nice, and to don't know how much recharging will be done, but I'll certainly recharge when I get back here for 4 days before going to Rome and get some practice in. But you don't want to be sitting around the whole week just waiting to go to Rome on that Monday morning. You know, stay busy, whether that be with practice or a trip away with friends or whatever it is. It's nice to get your mind off it for a few days.
And just on Ludwig, I wondered when you first came across the name, and how good can he be? How much are you excited by him?
Yes, I think when he won, so he got to #1 in the world amateur ranking, and he won the Haskins Award and the Nicholas Award, for being the best college player. So I think that was probably I don't know, maybe like at the end of last year, and then there were some people in the golf community that were touting him to be on this Ryder Cup team as he was still playing college golf. And he's obviously had a phenomenal start to his pro career and played well in the States, and then Luke asked him to come over and play a couple of events in Europe, and he finished 4th in Czech and 1 in Switzerland. So he's had an incredible start to his career, and I think anyone that either watches him on the range or watches him play golf can obviously see the potential and the talent that he has.
Okay, final question.
Hi, Rory. Just wondering, obviously it's been a fractious year or so for golf. I wonder how much you're hoping that the positivity and the energy that comes with the Ryder Cup can sort of unite golf fans around the world again.
Yeah, absolutely. I alluded to it in an interview a couple of weeks ago. I feel like this Ryder Cup would be a little bit like the 150th Open at St Andrews last year, where all of that noise went away for the 4 days that we were playing, at least. There's just some tournaments in our game that are bigger and more important than all of that stuff, and obviously the Ryder Cup's right at the top of the list. So it's at the end of the day, it's about competition, and it's about sport, and about competing at the highest level, and that's what the Ryder Cup is.
And very quickly, just how much did you enjoy playing with Gareth Bale today, and do you think he potentially has a future on the tour now that his football career is behind him?
I enjoyed playing with him. He hits it well. Like he does hit it very well. He's got a really good swing. Couple little bits that he would need to tidy up around the green, but I'm going to actually, we're members of the same club just down the road, so I'm going to play a little bit of golf with him next week, I think. But he's a good player. He's a proper, probably low digits to scratch golfer, and there's definitely some room for improvement as well. So it was good to play with him today, and he's still got a bit of time until he turns 50 if he wants to try to make a go at the senior tour. But he's a good golfer, and it was we had a good time out there.
Rory, thanks very much for your time, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
To watch another DP World Tour video, click here, and to subscribe, click here.